Most of you know of a disease called diabetes.
But you don't know how the disease works.
Let's explain it.
As you know, glucose is the cell's main source of energy. Here we have two glucose molecules floating around in the bloodstream, but they can't get in through the glucose channel alone.
The glucose used its best buddy insulin to enter the cell.
Insulin!
Insulin binds to the insulin receptor, which causes the glucose channel to open up, allowing the glucose to enter.
Here you can see the insulin binding with the insulin receptor. This is just like how a key binds with a keyhole. This allows the glucose channel to open up and the glucose can enter the cell.
There are two types of diabetes,
Type 1,
and type 2.
First, we will learn about type 1 diabetes. So, usually, the insulin will bind to the insulin receptor, and then the glucose channel will open, and the glucose will enter the cell, and then the cell will have energy. But, in the case of people who have type 1 diabetes, there is no insulin. Their body just doesn't produce it. So, nothing binds to the insulin receptor, the glucose channel doesn't open, and the glucose can't get to the cell, so the cell has no energy.
The other type of diabetes is type 2. In type 2 diabetes, there is insulin, but the insulin receptors are desensitized, so they don't detect any insulin for them to fit together.
that means the glucose channel can't open and glucose cannot get into the cell.
A quick clarification about type 2 diabetes. The insulin does, in fact, bind to the insulin receptor, but it just doesn't detect it.
There are different treatments for type 1 and type 2 diabetes. For type 1 diabetes, you can inject insulin because the body can't produce insulin on its own. For type 2 diabetes, medication causes the body to produce less glucose, which lowers the blood sugar level.
If it gets serious enough, a type 2 diabetic may need insulin injections for a higher chance of an insulin molecule binding with an insulin receptor and being detected.
Type 2 diabetes may go through lifestyle changes, that is more exercise and healthy eating, to reduce their problems. Lifestyle changes will cause the body's sensitivity to insulin to increase, so the body will be more likely to detect the insulin with its insulin receptors. It causes the body to efficiently use its glucose supply so that it doesn't need as much glucose to enter the cell to work.
You can't control if you get type 1 diabetes.
But you can control if you get type 2.
So just think before you eat your next chocolate